It's gaming news. We got it.
Fuck off. I'm gonna spoiler alert. I'm gonna shit all over your future topic then with my topic, because my topic is coming up.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and joining me once again is Cryptic Panther.
Hey everybody.
And Uberyoutuber.
Once again, I'm here.
Once
nice
again.
To be here.
This is the exception so far. What do you mean once again?
I heard you say once again to Panther. I want the same kind of treatment.
And the only fellow podcaster joining me once again is Cryptic Panther. And I couldn't do
it. You're so not used to saying my name.
I couldn't say it without laughing. No. So I'm not used to it. And anyways, yeah. So Fatty's not going to be joining us. We'll be doing a three-piece this time with a different member present and absent. He's moving, so he'll be sitting this out, and the three of us are going to do what we can to get all the gaming news to you guys, as we usually try to do. First up, some really big news that hit extremely recently. Panther, tell us all about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red? It's hard to say.
Yes.
It's hard to say. Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm just going to call it RDR2 from now on.
Sure.
RDR. Yeah, there's a bunch of information linked. We'll just move. No, I'm kidding. Fuck. Jesus. There's stuff that come out. Like, it's all over the place. So, I'm going to talk first. Red Dead is getting an online beta in November. And this is only a beta, and it's not even going to be the actual full online launch in November. They're doing a public beta, so anyone who has the game has access to the beta. So I don't think there's any special treatment. If you've pre-ordered the game, you're getting the beta access a little bit earlier. Nothing. It is an online beta. So if anyone remembers, they've done this with GTA, but a little bit different. GTA was out for like a month, and they'd give the online. But when the online came out, it was a fucking disaster. Nothing worked. All the servers were crashing. You couldn't get into games. If you get into a game, you were like kicked out. Anyone that made like progress was losing it. It was just a fucking mess. So this time they're playing it smart. They're waiting on like a month. I don't know if there's even an exact date. So planned launch is this November. It doesn't even give a date in November. So the game comes out October 26th. So I'm guessing within 2 to 3 weeks after that, maybe, 3 weeks, I guess, after that, I'm going to say speculation that we're going to get access to an online beta. So that's a big step forward, I think, from the mistake that happened with GTA. So I'm not upset by that. The game is going to be so fucking huge. You're not even probably going to be partway through it by the time the online beta comes out. So I'm not upset by that at all. I think that's a smart move, and they learn from their mistake. So that's point one of many.
Awesome.
You guys want to throw in an opinion on that?
Yeah. Once again, like we talked about before, I'm not. The online component to this game is just going to be a bonus for me personally.
Well, yeah, same as me.
I mean,
yeah.
So I'm okay with it. Whatever they need to do to iron out the kinks, that's fine. It's releasing at the end of October, right? Anyways, the game is.
Yeah, the 26th. Yeah.
Yeah. So no matter when this beta may come out in November, I mean, chances are all of us are still going to be pretty much deeply entrenched into the single player anyways.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, for most people, unless you don't have a job, I guess.
Right. Right. So I'm totally cool with that. The online mode is not why I'm buying this game to begin with.
Neither, but it's definitely an added bonus.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much the same with me. Not concerned at all with playing online until I'm fully done exploring the single player mode, because I think that as much fun as playing with friends usually is for a game like this, it's an experience that's meant to be fleshed out basically by yourself and discovered by yourself, at least at first. And that's how I approached the first one, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. So I don't see the allure of going to play with other people before I feel like I fully fleshed out Red Dead Redemption 2 in single player.
Okay, perfect. So there's multitude of individuals that have got to go to Rockstar headquarters. I do believe in New York, if I read it from the article, maybe not this one, but there's a multitude of them out there, where they actually went and got to play Red Dead. There's a multitude of people. Like this article I'm going to link is from the individual to Kotaku. I know there's a long list of individuals that have written articles and have talked about their time. This is one of the first ones that I kind of came across when I was reading up on it. I skimmed it pretty good and took a good look at it. I'm not going to go into great detail on it. My biggest thing on this is it's in the it's going to be linked in the description if you want to read it. It he talks about some of the things. No spoilers, because I mean they didn't spoil anything for him. So it's basically he was just talking about like how they got him into the game. They showed him a few things, but the character and this and that. So I mean it's a good read. So I recommend it. Giving a read. This article on Kotaku. Like I said, it just happened to be the one that I picked up on whenever I was kind of digging into some information on it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. The next point, tweeted today, we're recording this on the 24th of September, Rockstar Games, the diverse habitats and climates of Red Dead Redemption 2 are home to over 200 species of animals, birds, and fish, all of which behave and respond to their environment in a unique way. That is impressive.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, okay, there probably could be, 30 different types of birds, but, even still, or like 20 types of different fish, still. 200 species in the game. That is massive.
Yeah.
And there's I'm gonna link their tweet. I mean, there's they have some screenshots of like some of the animals, like a California coyote. There's a white-tailed buck. There's like a vulture, bald eagle. They mentioned horses, and they mentioned they show fish and a bear, and like that's pretty. It's impressive for them to go ahead and say, look, we're giving you 200 species. That's impressive.
It sure is. Yeah, and I can't wait to hunt and kill all of them.
Yes. Maybe maybe that's gonna be a challenge or a trophy to kill.
I'm sure it will be. Yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
Right.
And frustrating.
Yeah. Just another. It's just evident how huge this game is gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be massive. So the next thing I want to talk about is IGN put out an article. And it says 79 amazing little details in Red Dead Redemption 2. I am not reading all 79 of them. I'm going to link the article. If you want to read them all, they're there. But what I did is I grabbed 5. And a couple of these they listed as like the first one I'm going to read, they broke it up into 3 different, so I'm reading more than really 5. I combined them because in my mind, they kind of run together. This I thought was pretty cool. Arthur's facial hair grows in the game's real time, and this option, when styling it, depends on how long it's gotten, just like facial hair in real life. So unlike GTA, where you could just go into the barbershop, sit down, and get a full beard, and then next day if you decide you want to shave it off, next day you want the full beard, you could just go in and switch all you wanted as long as you had the money to pay for it. With this game, they don't give you that option. In other words, if you walk in and you're clean shaven, you can't all suddenly magically have a beard or a mustache.
Right. You don't go to the barber to grow facial hair.
Right. So that's pretty cool. Like they broke these up into 3, but also Arthur can shave at his tent in the camp, going clean shaven, keeping a full beard. Anything in between. He can trim the different areas of his face, chin, cheeks, and sideburns so they are short, medium, and long. So like extremely in-depth in how you want to make your character look.
Yeah.
And to change your hairstyle, Arthur will need to visit a barber shop in town, or a barber in a town. So your facial hair, you can take care of it yourself, or you can go in and have it styled, I guess. So they didn't really, say that the barbers do it. They just say that he can do it. So I think that's going to add something to it. I mean, you just can't decide one day you want a full beard, next day you want a handlebar mustache, that type of thing. So I think it's kind of interesting. It's definitely a step forward, big time.
Absolutely.
I don't know of any other game that does that.
No, all those little things are going to add up and just make it like a fully immersive world. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
The only game that comes to mind that's got a system like that was one that actually doesn't have it in place yet, and that's Scum. They do plan on hair growth and facial hair and all that stuff. So that's in the pipeline, but it's still in early access.
Yeah. So
the system is not in place at the moment.
Okay. Right. So what I marked as my number 2 was also they broke it into two different things. So I'm already up to like covering 5 of theirs and 2 of mine. I think they just wanted the big number to sound impressive.
Right.
But number 2, it says, if you don't eat and rest, Arthur will suffer from fatigue. And Arthur will visibly lose or gain weight depending on how much food he eats.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you're just, going to be running around just hunting constantly and not, make sure you're keeping your dude fed, he's going to be useless. Or if you decide that all you're going to do is just kill and eat everything, you're going to be a fat bastard.
Yeah.
So I could see myself getting so far into the game, be like, let's see how fat we can make this son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then just totally abusing the system and going to the opposite extremes as far as we can too.
Yeah, just like
I'll probably start the game and get really, really fat and then totally go survivalist and not eat anything for like a week in game and drop it all off.
Yeah, just take him and make him right fat, and then just make him run from one town to another. Like no horse. Leave the horse at the stable. Make him
passes
run.
out in the desert.
Oh shit!
Awesome. So I wonder if that aspect is going to be carried over into multiplayer. We're moving into the realm of speculation, of course, but can you imagine seeing some fat fuck trying to run while you're on horseback and he just passes out? I'd love the option to go and shave like a dick into his beard or something.
Totally. But that's gonna, if they do allow this to get, or if this will translate into the online mode, it would be pretty cool, because then it just allows you so much more customization, right, for your character in that world. You can have a grizzly beard, that you grew for 3 months in game or 6 months in game or whatnot, and it just opens up the door to so much more you can do and so much customization. That's gonna keep it fresh for sure.
Yeah, and I really can't wait to see how you can interact with other people when we get to the multiplayer aspect of it.
But even the interacting with NPCs is supposed to be like bumped up. They mentioned that in this.
Yeah.
I didn't add it in this list of mine, but they mentioned like the interaction with NPCs is well evolved. Before, in GTA it's like either they run away from you or they want to fight you. But in this game here, there's a lot more interaction. So yeah, I mean, these guys are pushing the envelope with this game. So like, yeah, I can't wait. Just the single player interaction is going to be impressive.
Yeah, well, based on their claims, this is going to change everything. So everything that we hear is, it's all sounding great so far. Can't wait to hear more. We're getting closer.
Definitely can't wait. So number 3 on my list was weapons get dirty and clogged up over time. If you get them wet, you'll need to clean them to get the best performance.
Okay, well, damn.
Yeah.
So it sounds this is going to be
it's almost like it's a Western simulator, dude.
Simulator, yeah.
I mean, they're definitely adding. I mean, there was stuff in here, and I'll mention them right quick, because I didn't put them on my list, but there was like your clothes. If you get snow on them, they'll eventually snow will melt off, and your clothes will be wet. Like the mud will dry, and you can have to like you can dust it off yourself. Like they're adding a level that is impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And one of the early gameplay trailers that they had, when was it, about a month ago that they released it, I don't know if you guys saw that scene where the guy, the character, just kind of rolled in the mud and he was fighting a guy.
Yeah.
And you can totally tell that the clothes, how dirty they got from the mud, like little details like that. I love that kind of thing. It just stands out. It's so cool. Makes it so. It just immerses you into that world. I love that.
Yeah, yep. I'm excited. Like I said, this is 79. Like I said, there you could have cut it down to probably 50 or 60, but like I said, some of them melded together. This one here is what I really like. There was a couple mentions of cinematic mode, but this one here is the one I really, really like. Is if you're riding with other gang members, holding X in cinematic mode ensures you ride as a pack at the same pace.
Yeah. Oh.
So in other words, if you have to say you go on a mission, I take it, and you want to go into cinematic mode, you can like set markers for your horse, and you do cinematic mode, and the horse will go there while you're in cinematic mode. And if you're riding with your gang and you're going, say, to do a mission, you could get in cinematic mode and just hold X, and everyone rides at the same pace. That is awesome. Cool. Instead of speeding up and slowing down.
in the original one, if I remember, there was a feature that had you riding at a steady pace, and your AI who you're riding with, the companion, would match that, right? But there was no cinematic mode.
No,
Right.
yeah. So they've added this cinematic mode, and
Yeah.
yeah, they mentioned it a few times in this list. So read up on that when you're going through this list of the other ones. And this one here I just kind of like this one here. It's a little bit funny at the end. It's you can store horses in stables in case you need a backup horse, because if your horse dies, it's gone. They're not
That's
like
it.
cars in GTA 5 that can be resurrected via insurance claims.
Oh,
Right.
shit.
So if you take a horse and you are, working with it and you're upgrading your horse and it's getting leveled and everything else, and you act like a fucking idiot and you get your horse killed, it's gone.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another level of, but I guess
It's a great feature, but it's going to be disappointing when that happens.
yeah, especially if you make a stupid mistake and get them killed.
Yeah.
Totally.
Killed, yeah. But apparently also they state in this here that you can tell your horse to flee if it's in danger. There was another hint in this. Like I said, there was just so many to choose from, and it was like I could pick a list and go on for 20 minutes just on the list of 79 that they had. It was crazy. So I recommend anyone interested at all to read through the list. Like I said, they split some of them up. They could have run together. Like the first one I read was 3 different in their title, but yeah, I mean, I recommend reading the article just for the basic fact of the amount of stuff that's listed in the game. There is a crazy amount of stuff. I just can't wait, man. October 26th can't get here fast enough.
Agreed.
Yep.
And we are a month away.
Yeah, a month away, almost to the day. Yeah. One thing that I did read somewhere, and it might have even been one of these articles, but it was talking about how hunting and fishing is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it is.
To not only surviving, but also for trade. And then even down to the details of like what type of weapon you use and what type of ammunition, the shot placement on where it hits the animal affects like the quality of the pelt. So, if you gut shot an animal and get, intestinal fluid and shit and bile all over it, you can't walk in and get $200 worth of, because it's going to be all fucked up.
Right.
So yeah, it actually matters like when you're hunting, which is just awesome.
And that's what that
Super
same
cool.
as shooting a pelt will give you less money if you use an arrow to kill it. If you skin it and carry the carcass, your character actually gets blood on its clothes. Your horse will have a blood smear on it when you load it on your horse to take it to the like. They have stepped up shit. Like, and even skinning the animal, because this is in that article. Because I was skimming through them. If you are skinning the animal, you can actually see exit wounds.
Wow.
Like they have gone like, and anyone who's played this is just bragging up the visuals. Like,
Right.
Like I said, I've listened to a couple of people like listen to some interviews and stuff, and I've watched or read some articles. There's no new gameplay room released or anything, but the people that are talking about it, they're saying how well it looks, how big it is, and everyone is just the same as us. They just can't wait for the release date to get their hands on this. And I'm like, man, like the more I hear, it's like, man, they've really stepped it up. No wonder the game got delayed twice.
Right. Right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
For everybody that bitched about it getting delayed, I there's so much stuff to play these days. I'm totally okay. I'd rather have a version that we're talking about right now than just some half-assed, half-finished game, right?
Rockstar knows what they're doing. So,
Totally.
yeah, I mean, it was smart for them to delay it. Just like I said, we've always said the same thing. I'd rather have a late game than a broken game. So
yeah,
especially with what this game could turn into be. There's, like I said, I mean, delay was required, and like once we get to play it, I think we'll forget that the game was ever delayed. That'll be the last thing in your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So with all the good news on Red Dead, unfortunately, we have to move to some bad news here. Uber, tell us about a studio closure.
Yes. Yeah. So Rockstar looks to be on the upwards trend, while Telltale Games is closing shop. It looks like. First, it was there was a bunch of tweets going around Friday. I was kind of following it a little bit, but by 3 p.m. Pacific time, it was confirmed that Telltale pretty much laid off all of their employees except for 25 that are still there, just the skeleton crew. to fulfill the company's obligations to its board and partners, according to this article here on PC Gamer. We'll have the link in the description of the pod or video. But yeah, that's sad news. Telltale Games, they've released a ton of games, and I know a lot. I personally, I've never played any of their games, although I have a bunch of friends who absolutely love Telltale Games, the style and the art, and that's a bummer. I mean, they had 400 employees just last year, 2017. They had upwards of 400 employees, and it looks like it was a mass closure just this Friday. And the other thing that I've noticed, just kind of reading through the tweets from former employees, is there was no kind of notice. I mean, there's no severance or anything. It was really just they came in on Friday morning to go to work, and by noon, everybody was informed that they were no longer welcome to come back on Monday. So that's a bummer. And the same day, I guess Capcom laid off a bunch of people in one of their Vancouver studios as well.
Hey, spoiler.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. But yeah, that's always sad to see. I don't know, did you guys ever get a chance to play any Telltale games?
Yeah, I know Panther and I both played several of them. Yeah. And for me, my only real, complaint with the different series that they had was they all felt exactly the same. So I got fatigued on Telltale Games, because anytime I'd see that logo, you absolutely 100% know exactly what the gameplay experience is going to be like. It's going to be, cinematic to a degree, and you're going to be able to, influence heavily what the story goes to.
Right.
But it's a very particular type of game. Now, they had incredible success because they've been extremely generous with the IPs that they've been given. A lot of really big name stuff, Batman, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead,
right,
Borderlands, Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, they've done a whole lot of shit of really, really big things, right, to kind of make in their own way, in their particular type of style. And I don't know about other people, but yeah, for me, I just, I if you've played one, you've played them all. They just have different skins over them. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, if it was just, sales declines over time. I don't think we've really received much information on this.
No,
right?
No, we really haven't yet. There was a story about the former CEO, Kevin Bruner. I guess
he's suing.
He's suing Telltale Games, or as of last June, he was, at least.
Yeah, because the way they handled it, way like they fired him, or he was forced out of the company or something. Yeah, there was some unsavory shit going on there. The biggest thing with like the Telltale Games, like, I mean, I tried the Walking Dead, like, when it first came out. I don't know I don't know if I bought someone's. I don't remember how I played a little bit of it back ages ago, and I'm like, I didn't really.
Well, I think it was a PlayStation Plus free episode. They gave you the first one.
Maybe, or was it demo? Maybe, I don't know. I played
because it comes out in episodes, like chapters.
Yeah,
almost.
Maybe it was. Right. I don't remember. I remember played it when it was shortly after it came out or whatever. People were raving how good it was. I'm like, I didn't get it. Then the Game of Thrones one came out, and they put like the whole season on sale for like $5 or something. Yep. So I was like, screw it. I'm like, I played the first one because it was free. I played the first one. I'm like, this is actually kind of fun once you so I bought the whole season pass, was like $5. I really liked the Game of Thrones one. It was kind of fun, something different. I played the Batman one because it was I think free or $5 there a little while ago. You bought one, you get the rest for free or something. I can't remember how it was, but I played the Batman one, or the first of the Batman ones they had, and it wasn't bad. But the disappointing part is they give you choices to kind of to arc the story of the game, but technically it didn't affect the story of the game, because if you chose one path, it would go a certain way. And I was like, well, I don't want to go back and probably play the whole game the second time to get the second one. So I looked it up online, and someone chose the opposite way of I did, and it basically got to the same point in the game, but just different, basically dialogue and probably a few different action scenes and stuff. So I was like, really, your choice doesn't change the game that much.
it branches out and then intersects back in with the main story.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Batman game, they can probably only do so much with it. I don't know about like the Game of Thrones. When I played through it only the one time, I never went back and tried any different paths or any different thing in there. But that was my disappointment with the Batman, because I'm like, okay, if you do this one thing, how does it change the game? Because I mean, that it was like, it seemed like a really like a big game changer, but once I found out it didn't really affect the actual ending of the game, I was kind of like, this kind of sucks. But
yeah.
I know Fatti, he's played some of them. I know he said The Wolf Among Us was crazy. He said it was actually really good. He recommended that. And I was thinking that I'd go ahead and I'd end up picking up The Walking Dead, because I think I get the first season for free. I think even Steam has it headed for free or something. I downloaded. I don't know. I think I have access to some of it anyways. And I thought, well, maybe I'll pick it up as it goes on sale here and there and play it, because everyone seems to just rave about The Walking Dead. But now, considering the last of The Walking Dead is not going to get made, there you go. Like,
yeah,
that's been canceled. They've canceled. It's like they had 3 or 4 titles that were basically either in works or down the pike to be worked, and they've all been canceled.
Right.
So,
now, one cool thing that came out of this, I mean, it's sad, right? Whenever people lose their jobs like this. But I noticed a lot of people on Twitter posting jobs in the gaming industry for those people, and there was even a guy, and I forget the name now, but he had a Google Doc of pretty much all the openings in the gaming industry across all different companies, and it was an updated doc, and he put that out there for people to check, and that's cool to see how people come together when something like that happens, because I mean, that's a bummer, and they're located here in the Bay Area where I live, and it's, you guys know, it's not cheap to live here. So for these people to not have any kind of severance or benefits or anything starting or as of Friday, that's a bummer. These people need to work. I mean, most of us do, to be able to afford to live here. So that was kind of cool to see people come and reach out and post jobs and things like that.
Yeah, Ubisoft was even like holding a lunch dinner for these people to come by and drop off resumes and talk shop and like talk work and stuff. So yeah, very, I mean, cool. As much shit as Ubisoft gets. So yeah, I tweeted. I know Guerrilla Games tweeting. I can't remember who else. There was like 2 or 3 other companies that I follow on Twitter, and a few of them were retweeted by a couple other people that I follow. And yeah, they were all like, "Hey, check us out." Ninja Theory was one of them. They said, "Check out our job openings." And Ninja Theory just got bought by Microsoft, and they'll be expanding. So I mean, yeah, like I'm hoping these people can all land a job, or maybe a bunch of them will get together and start their own damn company. I mean, you never know, man.
True.
It just sucks that this is how it went down, and I'm hoping they can get together and get something going, because I mean, there were some talented people in those teams, because those games, even though like I said, they kind of became cookie cutter at the end, they were good games and people seemed to really like them. It's just a shame that they had to get done that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice that there is some type of silver lining, at least, like we said, that the game community, not even just fans, but developers, the actual other game makers, that they came together and was kind of like, trying to at least extend the hand out, a bit. And that's nice to see. So like you guys said, it's nice that there is a silver lining to a really crappy situation.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the gaming industry as a whole, for everybody that's trying to get into it and make it a profession. It's very fickle. I mean, there is a lot of turnover all the time, and there's studios getting bought out and straight up closed. We've talked about that in the past. You just never know. So I feel like the people in the industry, they feel really, they feel they feel for these people, because they know a lot of them have probably been through it at some point.
I was just going to say, it's probably happened to a lot of them. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll talk more on that subject later. For now, moving on to a subject that we cannot escape. Fucking loot boxes and gambling.
Yeah.
So
Uber's back.
Yeah, Uber's back, and the news hasn't changed. Belgium has obviously been the focus of the last few podcasts, with them fighting EA now, and the lawsuit that's currently ongoing, a criminal lawsuit versus EA. So we're still waiting to see how that plays out. There's been no updates as far as we're aware here, but with 2K, you know, going to their customers and asking them to ask their legislators in Belgium to change their laws so they can be taken advantage of and stripped of their money once again. Belgium's been the focus. However, Australia, as we mentioned last podcast, was considering some actions being taken against them. And there was an Australian study that was just released, and this was released last week as of this podcast, 7 days ago. So not quite in time for the last podcast, but just after it. So according to an Australian study, loot boxes are, quote, psychologically akin to gambling, end quote. So this was a study done by the Australian Environment and Communications Reference Committee. I'm not sure how involved this particular committee is with the gaming industry in Australia in particular, or around the globe, but basically they did a survey for this study for over 7,400 game enthusiasts, as they're described. The results of which were presented during a public hearing in Canberra, Australia yesterday as part of the Australian Senate inquiry into microtransactions and chance-based items. So as we mentioned last week, Australia was thinking about passing some legislation and cracking down on this stuff as part of a public hearing for this particular subject. This study was released. And they said that participants who suffered a serious gambling problem were more likely to spend money on loot boxes. Quote, these results support the position of academics who claim that loot boxes are psychologically akin to gambling, end quote. So basically, they're confirming through study what we've all been saying this whole time, is that this is an addictive system, and it's meant to string people along. It's meant to pull as much money out of somebody as you can. It's minimal reward. And not even necessarily, I wouldn't use the word risk with this, because there's no risk as that implies a good outcome. It's purely negative in that you can dump thousands of money into a single yearly release and have it not carry over and benefit you in any further iterations of the game franchise or series. So you actually don't get anything out of it. So it's actually, I think for me, I would classify it as worse than gambling, because gambling at face value is, you know, a game of chance to get a reward. It's a risk reward system. This implies that there is something that you could gain positive out of this, of monetary value, because that's what you're gambling. And that's just not the case with video games. That's not what we get out of it. You just get arguably a better experience, or more items to play with, or better players in sports games, whatever the case may be. But there's no monetary value that comes out of it. There's no output for this form of gambling. So what we've all been saying is that this is so addictive, and it's so dangerous to have in our games, and it's so unwanted by the majority of players that have chimed in on this, that I'm happy to see, you know, actual steps being taken here, with Belgium going toe-to-toe with EA as of last week, and now Australians looking like they're going to get involved with legislation as well. It's slowly getting more and more serious for these gaming companies to have the stance of, we're going to fight it until legally we're forced not to. Or in EA's case, we don't agree with the law, so we're not going to follow it.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Well, let me open up to you guys a little bit here, since, you know, we're getting to know each other. We're buddies here. We've known each other for quite some time now. Now, I have a very addictive personality. I've always been that way. My parents are that way. My parents, both of them, were smokers, could never kick the habit, struggled with alcohol, all sorts of things. I have that personality trait. I totally do. I've struggled with it. I've struggled with gambling and different things. I just sometimes I just don't have the off switch. And I don't know. You guys tell me, is it a coincidence that I've been drawn to these game modes more than any other game modes in these games? I mean,
no,
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I've spent, you know, upwards of $10,000 on these virtual currencies across different games, and I think there's absolutely something to it. And I'm glad that there's studies now being had and things like that. At least people are looking into it, and government agencies are looking into it. And the thing that really bothers me the most of all this is that it's so accessible for kids, right? It's like that's the part that's it just sucks these kids in, and that's the part that's really troublesome to me, because these games shouldn't be about that. They shouldn't trigger that addictive switch, or they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. It shouldn't be a thing. But once again, I was streaming FIFA. I had an early copy of FIFA the other day, and I was streaming it for about an hour before I went to work. And I'm gonna be 95% of people who came into the stream who didn't know me, who just kind of stumbled in, all they wanted to see was Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team. That's all they wanted to see. So the demand is there. The demand is definitely there, but there's got to be a better way. There
should be. I mean, like, I get them wanting to spend money on cards because that's revenue for them to add content, etc. for games. That whatever it finances. But I mean, my question is, with these games, they don't even add shit. They might do updates, but they don't add more content to the game after the fact. They probably add more card packs, like more like gold and diamond packs and all that shit. They don't actually add more content to the game after, do they? Like what DLC would be.
Right. No, what they consider content is a different skinned player. You know what I mean? You might get
card packs.
More cards, different packs, and different cards itself.
So they basically use the
boosts and whatnot. Yeah,
they use the money that you pay to buy card packs for them to resell you more card packs.
Yes.
So they don't. It's not like in the Battlefield argument is like, oh, well, I pay microtransactions, pay for new maps, pay for new guns, pay for new character skins or whatever else that are given to us. Microtransactions or card packs in these games, because I know like MLB, they didn't give you anything new after that. They just updated the game, and you got new players added if they were like roster updates and that shit. But that's the problem, is the microtransactions just fund more card packs. It doesn't fund more content.
Technically, that's what it is. It's like a skin. You're buying a different skin, right? Because all these player models, I mean, they just look different, right?
Or
they may have different stats. Right,
so
right.
Basically, what you're doing is by giving them money on card packs, like when the game comes out, boom, 3 months later, all of a sudden, we got all these new fancy card packs. Another 3 months later, we get all these fancy new card packs. Then all of a sudden, here's the next iteration of the game, and guess what? All those card packs from last year are no more good. Get your wallet out and give us more money.
Right. So, yeah. You start from scratch. And that's the other, the big thing here. And this ties back into gambling is unlike Fortnite, where at least, okay, I'm spending $20 on this ridiculous looking skin, but at least I know what I need to spend to get that. Right. With these packs, you're spending for a chance to get something.
Right. And that's where the addicting side comes in, because I used to collect hockey cards when I was a kid, and when I was a young adult, I collected hockey cards and baseball cards. So I mean, it was what's in this pack? Oh man, I wanted that card. I'll go buy another pack, and oh damn, I didn't get it. And that's the thing. That's how we're card packs, like buying physical card packs, it can be an addiction. So how you can turn around and say that card packs in video games are bad? They're fucking worse, because to me it's so easy just to go and just press a button, and that's that ching ching pack opening noise and all the fancy graphics. It's a fucking gambling machine. You
don't even see the money, for kids especially. Exactly. I mean, for kids who have their kids' credit cards or their parents' credit cards, or even gift cards that they get for Christmas and stuff. This used to never be a thing. And I know I don't want to sound like I'm having a get off my lawn moment, but kids nowadays ask for like Google Play gift cards for Christmas. Like that, I was shocked by that. What I mean?
Here's the thing. Well, this is real life, because one of the women I work with, she asked me if I played Fortnite because she knows I'm a gamer and stuff, and I'm like, no. And she's like, her brother's, she's got a quite younger brother. All he wanted was a Fortnite card, like gift cards for like Epic cards or whatever you get for Fortnite. That's what he wanted for Christmas. Like that's what he asked for Christmas, was so he could spend shit on Fortnite. because the kid is hooked on him and all his friends. That's all they do is play Fortnite nonstop. So that every time to get Christmas presents, birthday presents, they ask for these gaming and there's gift cards so they can spend money on the game. Like, it's holy fuck, that is crazy. Yep. Instead of asking for a new game or, you know, a gift card on Steam or whatever to buy another game or buy a DLC pack for another game or whatever, they're asking for currency to buy shit in a video game.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
And the only thing that they're going for is to maintain that addictiveness because, you know, as we've alluded to, you know, Panther and I for sure, and Uber, you'd probably agree now in hindsight, you know, paying for some skins, you know, while a few of them I would say, you know, I don't care about, I don't mind, whatever. But when you start paying thousands of dollars just for a few different colored pixels, I think at the end of the road, we can all agree that that's not worthwhile content. And it's staggering the amount of money that people pay over time for that. And you don't realize it because it does add up, you know? Like, I'm sure as you were spending hundreds and then thousands later, you weren't actually thinking of the total money that you put into one, right?
No, not until I tallied it up when I had finding myself moment.
Yeah. So you got audited, yeah.
But it becomes, that's exactly what happens. It becomes almost like a subscription, almost like a bill, like a membership or something. You just keep dumping this money in, and then you're the wake up moment I had, and I'll share this, is when, and this came years too late, but when years after years after years these games released. I like sports games, and you guys know these games come out every year. Madden comes out every year. Now when you spend $6,000 on your Madden team one year, and then the next year the new Madden comes out, and what we talked about earlier, and you start like everybody else with the same exact team, it's beyond discouraging. And that's when it really like hits home, like, wow, what did I do last year? Why would I do that to myself? For now, you know what though, I still play these Ultimate Team modes, but I take a much different approach. And I encourage anybody listening now to maybe try that. If you guys are into that, you can kind of get addicted to, if you got to get addicted to something, get addicted to trying what you can do for free in these game modes. Try to build your team in these sports games. Try to build your team as good as you can without spending a dime. Like, that becomes a challenge, and that becomes fun in its own right. So I've been taking that approach because I still like the fantasy aspect of building my own team with all kinds of different players and things like that.
So you're saying embrace the grind.
Embrace the grind. Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, if that's what you're into, get addicted to that. It won't cost you a dime, and you'll spend hours on end. And there's, you know, different games have different business models, and different there's games that are, believe it or not, there's games that are less greedy than others, and just find those and have a fun time with it, you know?
Yeah. This is sad. This has to be a topic almost every fucking week.
It is, I know, but right now it's because honestly this is history in the making.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
As we've said, this is a pivotal moment in the gaming industry.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. So that's where we're at.
One more thing real quick though. While we have these terribly valued games where you spend $60 to get into the door, and then possibly another couple of thousands just to compete with another person's team or whatever, there's other games like Red Dead Redemption where it almost feels like $60 is a rip. Like I'm ripping them off by spending $60. And granted, none of us have played this game yet, but from the looks of it, or let's take a game that's out right now, Spider-Man. I paid $60 for the game. I've already had so much fun with this game. I've already spent so much time on this game that it's worthy my $60. And I feel like everything else from here on out is gravy. Like, there is still games that are like an awesome value, you know?
Yeah.
And hey, to an extent, Fortnite is that too, because you can play that for free. And if you're into the gameplay and the game, and you don't need to have the newest skins, it's a free game. Hey.
That's true. All right, so let's move on here. I'm sure next week we'll have more more to say. It's inevitable at this point. But Panther, this is a wacky topic for us. We've never well, no, I can't say we've never covered something like this.
We have.
It is, yeah, something we've talked about, but not really in our wheelhouse of information that we hit every week.
No, it's
for
not.
a strange
It's not
piece.
loot
Tell us what it
boxes.
is.
So from one groundbreaking thing in history to another, first uncensored adult game on Steam.
Hello.
Is restricted in 28 countries. So this is the article. It says Steam's first uncensored adult game is Negligee Love Stories. The game was finally approved and released at the end of last week. Since the release, several countries have banned the sexually explicit adventure game. So far, the game is restricted in 28 countries. These restrictions are on the downside of being in the poster child for the first adult game on Steam. So,
Game of the week?
It could be. No, it's not going to be Game of the Week. Unfortunately, the article doesn't. Well, there is some gameplay. I mean, I don't know how it's. I think it's YouTube, so it's going to be censored if there's
on
any.
Pornhub.
I didn't. Yeah, it's not a Pornhub link. It's a YouTube link. I'm pretty sure of it. I didn't watch the video because I mean, cartoon pornographic video games are not in my wheelhouse at all. I don't really care for them. I know there's a market for them. What's that?
You don't have to lie to us. It's okay.
Hey man, if I want porn, I don't play video games. So, but the long list of banned countries. One is Australia, which is a no shocker. Man, they ban everything in Australia.
Right, but Bangladesh, come on.
Germany is one of them.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Iceland. You know, Japan. Really,
wow.
Japan,
yeah.
Japan of all fucking places, and even South Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, Russia. Like I mean, some of them
surprised at Russia. Can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, some of them like Saudi Arabia and the UAE and you know places like that, Nigeria, like places that probably have pretty strict regulations on a lot of things.
Yeah, where women are items, sure.
Right,
yeah.
you know, yeah. Well, real life is one thing. Video games, you can't. Video games are a different thing, man. They're a different category. But Japan and South Korea were a shock to me. Well, Japan for sure. I mean, home to tentacle porn. You know, I mean, but yeah, I mean, this is crazy that you know the Steam, you know, because they changed the rules on how they censor stuff, right? Like they're like we're unleashing, we're taking the censor ban off of stuff, and we're letting, you know, if you wanted to put a game on Steam, they're not censoring adult content anymore. Yeah. I mean, that was a big thing last year. They said out before. They said the only thing that they're still banning is out and out trolling or out and out, like, you know, their spread of hatred. They're not allowing that stuff. But as it comes to adult content, they've like unleashed the beast, so to speak. And so we get Negligee Love Stories. And yeah, but 28 countries have dropped the ban hammer on it already. But USA and Canada, boy, we don't care. We like it dirty.
Now, is this a sequel? Because I just looked up on Steam. I looked up Negligee, and that's a game. And it said it released in October 2016. For 12, it's available for $12.99. I mean, I'm just doing research here, just doing my due diligence.
Just adding to your wish list.
Yeah.
Waiting for a sale. Yeah.
The steamy sale, not just a Steam sale, but the steamy sale.
You can actually buy the soundtrack for this game, the art book. I mean, they got DLC up to, you know what?
Yeah.
Mostly very positive reviews, though. Out of 458 reviews, very positive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I may just give it a shot just for the pure, you know, just for research purposes.
I wonder if you can find. I bet you're not going to find that on Twitch.
No.
Mixer probably, if you're going to find it.
There's a deluxe edition as well.
Holy God, deluxe edition. So yeah, if you want to get your freak on, you can go check out Negligee Love Stories, as long as you're not in one of the 28 listed countries.
Yeah, and if you really, really enjoy this game, if you do buy it or try it, play it, whatever, they have the complete set bundle. I'm looking on Steam right now as well for $54.99. What a steal!
Yeah,
that's a bargain.
God. That's wild. Okay, let's move on quickly and not awkwardly. Uber, give us some more good news about Spider-Man.
Yes, so Spider-Man is breaking all kinds of records here. According to Sony, the game has sold 3.3 million copies. That would roughly be $198 million at a $59.99 retail price in the open. It was in the first 3 days, I think, of the game, which is insane.
Yep.
And it actually crushes the $117 million opening weekend box office for the latest Spider-Man film. So this game is absolutely crushing it. We all own it, right?
Yep.
We've it's an awesome game. It's really fun to play, and Sony's definitely pushing. I've seen this is probably the game I've seen the most commercials for on just regular TV, during sports broadcasts and things like that. I've been seeing
this
a ton of
and
commercials.
God of War, I think.
Yeah. True, God of War. Yep, you're right. And there's obviously the special Spider-Man PlayStation 4 Pro bundle that's available for $3.99. So it's everywhere, and people are buying it up. People are loving it. The reviews are in. Everybody's pretty much a big fan of this game.
Yeah,
including myself.
Yep, and just more great news for Sony. And it really, not that I feel like this is really in contention anymore, but for the longest time, there was the argument made that, video games were not very profitable, or there wasn't too much money to be had in them. And holy fuck, man, 2018 has just hit that argument or theory like a fucking sledgehammer.
Well, the biggest thing to argument too was single player games were not just video games, but the big kick at single player games being a negative, and EA was one of the driving forces behind the issues with getting a Star Wars single player game was single player games are dead. Bullshit.
Right.
God of War and Spider-Man fucking showed you that.
Yeah, it shows you how much a finger on the pulse they have when they say things like that, right? When done right, you keep the loot boxes out of it, and when done right, people will buy these games and people will enjoy the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And I'm an online kind of guy. Like, I play all my sports games online and stuff, but I picked up Spider-Man on day one. Granted, there's been so much stuff to play, but I sat down yesterday and I played for like a good 3.5 hours. And I can't wait to boot it up again tonight. Like, that's going to be my nightly chill game in the foreseeable future here. It's just awesome. And God of War is the same way. I mean, God of War was awesome. Horizon Zero Dawn was awesome. Yeah. I'm finally also, while we're on this PlayStation exclusive topic here, you guys will be very proud of me because I finally put my Xbox One X up on Craigslist this weekend.
Wow.
Hey.
I'm looking to sell it. I had to be real with myself. I looked at this damn box and I haven't turned it on in like 3 months. Jeez. And the last time I turned it on for like 20 minutes. Like, what is this? It's just a boat anchor, especially now that I have a PC. I don't need this damn thing. And when is the last time we raved about, or anybody raved about a Xbox exclusive game that came out that is just amazing?
The only exclusive title is not exclusive. Is the Horizon game is huge, but that's on PC.
Exactly.
So, what's the point of owning an Xbox when everything comes to PC?
Sea of Thieves was supposed to be a huge, and it's never really, it wasn't very good.
Those two games were supposed to be big things, and I mean they're on PC, so you don't even need an Xbox. So
exactly,
I mean, so Sony, man, kicking
I'm
ass.
selling it. I'm selling it. The only thing I'll be missing is 4K movies, but I'll be all right with that. I'll buy some Blu-rays or something. Make up.
Well, with the money that you get from selling it, you could get just a 4K player.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, easy.
I mean, you can get one of those for probably $80 or $90. They're not extremely cheap yet, but you can absolutely get one.
And you can use the rest of the money to go buy some good beer.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Episode 2.
Yeah.
The beer we like.
Get 4 beers that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Let's have a good night. Yeah.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
The lovely sequel. Okay. Yeah. I'm down. I'm absolutely, yes, please. Please, let's do this. I'd love to get beer that I enjoy. Anyways, we're moving on. Still kicking for Sony here. Maybe not. That's going to be the question, right? for Sony's PlayStation Classic. They announced this. This has been all over the place. It was announced as of this recording 6 days ago. So again, after our last podcast, but just in time for this one. Now, they're releasing a miniature version of the original PlayStation that's going to come preloaded with 20 games, what they're calling classics. Now, they have not announced yet, as of this recording, all the games that are going to be included here. They did announce Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, Wild Arms, and I believe that's it so far.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a full list
Jumpin' Flash, and Ridge Racer Type 4. So we've got 5 games so far. I'm not impressed with that lineup.
Neither am I.
I've got a few problems with this announcement. Not only is it coming hot on the heels of them announcing that PlayStation 2 is no longer going to be repaired, it's going to be dead in the water forever now, never to return. With the PlayStation Classic being released, you got to figure at some point that, you know, obviously they're following Nintendo's lead with a classic console release. And they're expecting big numbers out of this, I'm sure. And we can probably look forward to, within the next 2 or 3 years, a PlayStation 2 Classic. Or PlayStation Classic 2, however they refer to it. But it was almost 25 years ago that the original PlayStation console was introduced to the world. It's, of course, shipped over 100 million units worldwide and was one of the biggest platforms ever in the 3D age. So I don't know how I feel about the PlayStation being released in this way. And a few problems that I have as well is, number one, the controllers are still wired. And I really, really hate that these retro consoles they're releasing right now are releasing in such a way that they're still 25 years behind. Yeah. I don't agree with that. I think that it should be the simplest thing in the world for them to just have a tiny little Bluetooth thing in the console that you can connect to a retro feel and looking wireless controller.
Yeah,
that should be step number, probably 2 or 3 when making this. Okay, we're going to design it this way. It's going to come preloaded with games. Obviously, the controller is going to be wireless. I mean, that should be the conversation right there.
Yeah, totally. Even hook up your current PlayStation 3, 4, whatever controller you have.
That'd be tits right there. Is just have just the immediate functionality.
Right.
Of being able to play something old yet familiar and in a way that's still convenient. Because as of right now, TVs are fucking huge. I myself have a 70-inch TV, and for a wired controller, that means that my living room setup is not going to work. I'm going to have to stand.
Sitting 3 feet in front of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a problem with the Nintendo Classic one. My wife has the SNES one, I think it is. And I had to buy extension cables for it because the damn cords were so fucking short. Like, who sits in front of their fucking
Well, because
TV
it's like they
close?
think, again, like they release a retro console, but it's still 25 years behind.
Yeah,
because they think that the TVs are still 20 inches and you can sit in front of them like that.
Yeah, everyone's got massive TVs mounted on their fucking walls or mounted on entertainment centers that you can't sit in front of because it doesn't work. And you can't sit that close to a fucking TV now. You'd be blind.
Well, I've got mine like many people mounted as well. So like, I mean, that even shortens the cord, like a length that I'd be able to use.
And another thing, like 20 games and the retail price in Canada is $130 fucking.
Yeah.
You can shove that up your fucking ass.
Jesus.
I heard me play the original PlayStation. I played a bit. I never owned one. Like a girl I was dating at the time. Yeah, her like cousins had one. I played a bit of it over their place. I didn't own a PlayStation 1. I was PC gaming and shit back then. Like, I was still still playing Nintendo and stuff like it. I just never really jumped on the PlayStation bandwagon until PlayStation 2. And I mean, I probably don't, and this is definitely not for me because like I said, I wasn't into it at the time, even though my age definitely I would have been young enough to be on the bandwagon for it, but I was PC gaming or I was still playing Nintendo at the time. So or I was doing other things. So yeah, I mean, so this doesn't hold anything to me, but man, the price tag is like, fuck, for 20 games.
And for the price tag to be this high, you know, you have to ask what's included in it. And for me, it's just absolutely not good enough.
2 controllers.
So Sony, we know you're listening. Obviously, you keep your ear on the ground to this podcast. Let me tell you how to make this a success. It's already just basically a ROM emulator, right? Because it doesn't have discs. It doesn't have things that you have to download. It's already preloaded. So it's basically, and also it's 45% smaller than the original PlayStation. So it's basically a handheld ROM simulator. This cannot have cost you $100 to make. There's no fucking way. You don't even have a wireless controller included in this. You also, as far as we know, don't have a store to where you can continue to expand your library. We don't know if
it doesn't plug in online. It has no online capabilities.
Okay, so you can't expand the collection here. You can't update anything. There's no wireless controllers. There's no memory, so it doesn't do anything except play the 20 games that are on here. It's extremely limited in functionality and in its library. Right now, absolutely not. What you absolutely need to do to make this a success is turn around the design, add wireless controllers onto there, hook it up to the internet, and access PlayStation Now, and put all the PlayStation classics on there that you can. Have all of them streaming through PlayStation Now or downloadable through the PlayStation Store. Yeah. One or the other.
I agree with you. They include 2 wired controllers. You know, I'd almost prefer they not include any controllers if it's wireless. Like let us use our PS4 controllers, or give us the option to buy a classic design controller, whatever. I'm okay with that to keep the cost down. And like Baker said, don't give me any preloaded games. Just give me like a starter pack. Have it hooked up to the internet, and have me be able to buy any classic PlayStation game that the licensing permits for $1.99 or whatever. Like, you know, have me be able to a la carte choose the games that I want, rather than you tell me the 20 that I should be liking. Because I can think of 20 right now that I'll probably buy if I have the choice.
Yeah.
Give me that choice.
What would you say, given those features, what would you say a fair price would be for the system? Because I have one in mind. I absolutely have one in mind.
I'd say if you take the controllers out of the picture completely, have it be compatible with PS4 controllers, I'd pay $79 for it.
That's even higher than me.
79, somewhere in that range.
I would say with wireless controllers, 79. If you want with because I mean they're retro controllers. They don't have They don't need the touchpad. There's no
they don't need to rumble. I don't even think the original one had rumble, right?
No, I don't think so. So if we're just talking bare bones, it's literally just button inputs. You know, there's no other functionality to that. Yeah. But if they made them wireless, if they included 2 of those, it still, I feel, would be extremely cheap for them to make. I'm looking at a online connected PlayStation Classic with those wireless controllers included at $49.99.
Wow.
I think that's cheap enough for people to absolutely justify getting. It's less than the cost of a current current generation game, excuse me. And those controllers have got to be cheap. The reason the DualShock 4s are the price of a game, and sometimes even higher, is because they actually do so much. You can hook a headphone jack or a headphone directly into it with a microphone attached. It's got sound that comes out of the controller. It vibrates. It's got the touchpad and everything. It's an advanced piece of tech. Totally. I get that it's expensive. I don't like it, but I understand.
It's got a gyro in it too, right?
Yeah.
I think it actually does. Yeah. If you turn it for certain games.
So. Yes. Yeah. So it's got a lot to it. For something like this is exactly the same technology as a Nintendo controller. It does the same thing.
Here, let's flip the script a little bit. What if they went ahead and instead of basically scrapping the Vita, they used the Vita to play classic games, and maybe up the screen size and just have a goddamn portable fucking classic, or a portable where you can play all the classic games on it, instead of going ahead and making this fucking just fucking waste of time where they have to assemble the consoles and all these controllers. if they basically took the chassis, the Vita, or made it a little bit bigger and put a little bit bigger screen on and play the classics on portable. You can still connect to Wi-Fi. You won't need fucking controllers. You don't need a fucking TV. And there you go. Sign in with your account and you go on and you can rent fucking games, or you can download or buy games. That'd be the better market. Because the Vita is strong enough. I mean, you could do it for PlayStation Classic, PlayStation 2 Classics, like anything that's been remastered and stuff like that. For the I don't know. There's the potential for, instead of having to hook it to a fucking TV and have to have a 65-foot cord to sit there inside your living room. And then your fucking thing is letterboxed to fuck, so the 4.3 screen fits on your big screen TV. Like we only have a 49 in our living room, and we got a small living room upstairs. Like we have a bigger TV in the basement, but I mean, when you put it on there, it's like letterboxed to fuck. It's like it's so weird to see all that screen real estate not being used when you're playing the Nintendo games, because it's, you know, the games were 4.3, right? They were old school square CRTs. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think to me, I'd be more apt to spend money on a game console that was portable. I mean, as much as I don't like the Switch because of what it is, for certain things it makes sense to me. Right. You know, the Switch is me is a glorified fucking DS that plugs into a home-based console, really. And like I said, I mean, that's the argument I've always had against the Switch is, but the fact that PlayStation now is following this suit. I mean, with Nintendo and now with even the Atari thing that they're trying to do, it's like, Jesus, man, we don't want old fucking games. I want new games. I want new technology. Don't give me old shit.
Well, there's a value to this, though.
I have some nostalgia towards the PlayStation 1, though. That was,
I mean, like, we have the Nintendo console hooked up to our TV. I think I've turned it on once since my wife bought it. I don't think she's turned it on 10 times.
That's the thing, too. A lot of these games, they really don't age well, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you on paper, it looks great because it rings a bell and it kind of like triggers that little squirt in your brain that you remember having a good time with this game.
Yeah. And,
you know, Siphon Filter, oh, that's freaking awesome. And then you go, well, what the fuck? I could just be playing Spider-Man right now. You know what I mean? It's like, and I actually ran into that last week when Nintendo released their online service. And they give you a free 7-day trial. And they have the same thing, 20 games, I think, at launch, 20 classic NES games. And it was like, oh, Excite Bike. So I launched it, and I'm like, yeah, that's shit. Like, that was awesome 30 years ago, but now not so much. You know what I mean? Let me play Trials, or, you know, there's just some of these games really don't age well. And although it looks great on paper, I think that thing, just like the Nintendos, I didn't buy either one of the classic Nintendos, but I was interested in buying them if Nintendo didn't purposely make the inventory so low that nobody could get their hands on it. This, again, the PlayStation, to me, it was still one of the best-looking PlayStations. I think the PS3 is up there, too, but the original PlayStation 1 was a good-looking console. To have it as a miniature version, just to put on your like gaming shelf if you're into collectibles and stuff, it's kind of cool. I don't know about $100 if you're never going to plug it in, but
exactly,
you know, for nostalgic reasons, I could see people are going to buy it.
Yeah,
you know that, right? People are going to eat that up.
Yeah. I don't see Sony limiting their availability with this. I think that they're actually going to try to sell more.
Oh, I get that too, but I just think this is a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. Also, for anybody that hasn't read the fine print yet, down at the very bottom of this page, this article, it says AC adapter sold separately.
What?
Oh, just to put the nail in the coffin on any excitement that you had for this.
How's that trigger your fucking nostalgia?
That's hilarious.
So yeah. You know, I understand Sony trying to do a retro console release similarly to Nintendo, because Nintendo's had huge success in this market, but I think they went the wrong direction with this, man. Yeah. I really do.
It's a quick cash grab before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
That's what it definitely feels like.
It is.
They be getting no cash from this cat. I'll tell you that right now.
Nope.
No, that's it.
All right.
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. Yeah. So we have hit the hour mark here at Beyond the Controller. We've gone too far, as we usually do. We got a few topics left over, but nothing extremely pressing. So if we can, we'll get to those next week, depending on how much news is released in between now and then. But for now, of course, everything that we've talked about is going to be linked in the YouTube description for you guys on SoundCloud. Thanks for listening to us there. However you guys listen to us, thank you. We appreciate it. Of course, our Twitter handles are all linked as well. Follow us there. We do tweet. We're all very active on there, or we try to be as much as we can. But once again, thank you guys so much. From all of us here at Beyond the Controller, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you guys next time.